Okay, image borders. Border image properties is images place a border around a block, and I don't think we had that in, that was obviously new as 3 as well. We set a div border to width of 30 pixels, which is the thickness of the border we're placing around the element. And it's fairly thick, actually. Next, we specify a width of 234 pixels, which is the width of the entire rectangle. And we do that right there in the div. And then we have a sketch, which goes out, uses a couple different sources, and this one actually is giving us an Opera border image to use, so we'll take a look at that one, and or the generic one, which is border image. To do it, URL border.png. Which sets up a couple of different borders. Actually, they all use border.png. And then for the images for the divs, we use stretch and repeat. Alright, so let's take a look at those couple of ones, and let's do it in Opera. Opera works. 9. Yeah. So we got the image borders, using images with very little in there. And then you've got stretching the image border to stretch it out, and then repeating it. So in this case, it stretches the image, right? In this case, it just repeats it. So it's a couple of different nice options you have there, which you didn't have in the past, which is kind of nice. Didn't have that in too. Some nice news here. Right, so again, we just looked at that. We'll create 2 image border styles. In the first, we stretch, and the second, which is a distort, and the other one, we do not stretch it, we repeat it. Stretching a border image has 6 values. The URL, the slice express 4 separated values of pixels. These are the values of the inward offsets from the top, right, bottom, and left. The border slice image slice divides the image into 9 regions, 4 corners, 4 sides, and a middle, which is transparent. Unless otherwise specified, you may not use negative values. We could express the border image slice in 2 values, in which case the first value would represent the top and bottom, and the second would be the left and right. The border image slice may also be expressed in percentages. Border image repeat specifies how the regions of the border image are scaled and tiled repeatedly. Indicating stretch just once creates a border that will stretch the top, right, bottom, and left regions to fit the area. You may specify two values for the border image repeat. If we specified stretch repeat, the top and bottom regions of the image would be stretched, and the right and left regions of the border would be repeated to fit area. Other possible values for border image repeat property include round and space. If you specify round, the regions are repeated using only whole tiles, and the border image is scaled to fit the area. Specify space, the regions are repeated to fill the area using only whole tiles, and any excess space is distributed evenly around the tiles. Repeating an image border. Next, we create an image border by repeating the regions to fit the space. The border image property includes 4 values: the URL, which is where the image is, the border image slice, which is the left, right, top, bottom, respectively. Border image repeat. The value specifies that tiles are repeated to fit the area using partial tiles to fill the excess space. Okay. So if we go back and we look at this, again, this is what we get. This is a normal image border. This is a stretching where there's just one tile and it's stretched out. This is the repeating one. Animation. This is nice too. This is something in the past you couldn't do. You had to use either Flash or JavaScript to do this in the past. For the most part, there wasn't really any other way to do animation. Apparently now we can do it in CSS, which is great. Move image linear, 2S, 1S, 2 alternate. What all those values do for us. We've got a whole set of keyframes moving the image and percentages. And you have the different ones, the WebKit, the opacity, the left and top value where it moves, and the percentage, where it moves at what percentage on the timeline. And then it should just move. Okay, so the thing should move around. Let's see if that happens. There it goes. Moving around. That's cool. In the past, if you wanted to do something, well, yeah, the past. Alright. That's cool. The animation property allows you to represent several animation properties in a shorthand notation rather than specifying each separately. The animation name is the moving image. The function, linear, duration, 10 seconds, delay, 1 second, animation iteration count, 2, and the direction is to alternate. In shorthand notation, the values are listed. Animation name, the name of the actual image. Animation timing function, how the animation processes in one cycle of its duration. Possible values are linear, ease in, ease out, ease in, out, cubic, linear specifics that the animation will move at the same speed from start to finish. Default value, ease, starts slowly, increasing speed, then ends slowly. Ease in, starts slowly, speeds up, whereas ease out starts faster and slows down. Ease in and out starts and ends slowly. Keep it easier, allows you to customize the timing function with 4 values, 0 and 1. Animation duration specifies the time in seconds or milliseconds that the animation takes to complete one iteration, 10 seconds in this case. Specifics the number of seconds, 1 second in this case, or milliseconds, after the page loads before the animation begins. Animation iteration count specifies the number of times the animation will run. You may use the value infinite to repeat the animation continuously. Animation direction specifies the direction in which the animation will run. Value alternate used here specifies that the animation will run in alternating directions, in this case counterclockwise, as we define with our keyframes, then clockwise. Default value normal would run the animation in the same direction each cycle. The shorthand animation property cannot be used with the animation play state property, must be specified separately. If you do not include animation play state, which specifies whether the animation is paused or running, it defaults to running, so it starts running. And again, you can probably see this all in the code. Just look at the code here. We looked at it already. Okay, we can see each one of those. 10 seconds, 1 second, delay, alternate. Number of iterations, 2. Keyframes rules defines the elements properties that will change during the animation, the values to which these properties will change, and when they will change. The @keyframes rule is followed by the name of the animation, moving image, to which the keyframes are applied. CSS rules consist of one or more selectors, followed by a declaration block and curly braces. Selectors enable you to apply styles to elements of a particular type or attribute. A declaration block consists of one or more declarations, each of which includes the property name, followed by the colon, a value, and a semicolon. In this example, the keyframes rule includes 5 selectors to represent the points in time for our animation. You can break down the animation into as many points as you like. With CSS3 transitions, you can change an element style over a specific duration. CSS transformations will allow you to move, rotate, scale, and skew elements. Transitions are similar concept to the animations, but transitions allow you to specify only the starting and ending values of the CS properties being changed. And animations keyframes enable you to control intermediate states throughout the animation's duration. So figure 5.12 and when the cursor has to hover over it. There we are. Well, that's cool. Didn't have that in 2 either. We begin by defining the transition for each property that will change. The transition property specifies that change. We could specify a separated list of property names that will change and the individual durations over which each property will change. Transition transforms 4 seconds, opacity 2 seconds. Indicates that a transform takes 4 seconds to apply and the opacity changes over 2 seconds. Thus, the transform will continue for another 2 seconds after the opacity change completes. In this example, we define transforms only when the user hovers the mouse over the image. Okay, we can look at that. Image, margin 80 pixels, WebKit, transform, 4 seconds. Image hover, okay, so that's the event that causes it to kind of kick off the hover. Rotate 360 degrees, scale 2, 2, so it increases in size. And they all do the same thing. So when you hover over it, it scales like that. Rotates 360 degrees and it becomes essentially doubles in size. It's pretty cool. Right, and when we hover over it, we'll see that it rotates on us. Hover pseudocode class formerly worked only for anchor elements, but now works for any element. Okay, so that's new too. We use hover to begin the rotation scaling of the image. Transform property specifies that the image will rotate 360 degrees and will scale to twice its original width and height when the mouse hovers over the image. Transform property uses a transformation function such as a rotate and scale to perform the transformations. The rotate transformation function gives the number of degrees. Negative values cause the element to rotate left and positive will be right. Value 1 represents the original width or the original height, so values greater than 1 increase the size, values less than 1 decrease it. Skew is the next one. CSS transformations allow you to skew block level elements, slanting them at an angle horizontally. We can use animation and transform properties to skew a rectangle and text horizontally by 45 degrees. First, we create a rectangle with a light green key background, a solid dark green border, and rounded corners. The animation property specifies that the element will skew in a 3-second interval for infinite duration. Fourth value linear is the animation timing function. Next, we use the at keyframes rule and selectors to specify the angle of the skew transformation at different angles. So you can see how it skews. And that's cool too. Again, in the past you'd have to do ActionScript generally for that. I'm not even sure you do that with Java. Like you do that with JavaScript. And we can look at this source here. Skew.textbox gives you the different margins, background color, text align, border. Then we put in some of the WebKit stuff. Skew, 3 seconds, infinite linear. And the actual skew tells you where to go from show. Okay, skew X 25. So the different degrees of how it does it, from to at 25, 50, and 75%. And what that means: 45 degrees, 0, negative 45 degrees. And then that's what we see happening there. Alright, any other questions? Any questions so far?